Hello everyone, it's good to be back. This is Abimbola Kiumi Iliokoya on Now That You Are Married. Have you ever had an encounter with someone accusing his or her spouse of unfaithfulness, breach of trust? Has anybody ever walked up to you to tell you he or she is suspicious of the spouse? Today we want to look at it again. What does it mean to step out of your marriage and begin to have either emotional or physical infidelity, cheating? You know, we have analyzed it that cheating can be emotional, but that is what always leads to the physical cheating, that is having extramarital sex. Today I'm excited to have a beautiful lady around again.
Thank you.
She's Olabisi Olashueton of Secret Place Wives. I'm sure you have heard a lot of things about that. Good to have you back.
Thank you, Mike.
Bisi.
Thank you for having me.
I'm bringing you in because I know you're dealing with a lot of people, you know, having accusation and counter-accusation, some owing up, some saying no, some, you know, unrepentant about it. But I want us to start by, you know, looking at it closer. What exactly would you consider to be infidelity?
So, there's a line of thought on rethinking infidelity now and what constitutes cheating or not. But generally speaking, it would be stepping out of your marriage vows to have extramarital affairs with another person. So that can be physical, and it can be, these days, of course, it transcends physical. It starts from emotional. You know, the things that you're supposed to be enjoying with your spouse, the love, the confidence, the connection. Once you begin to step out of your marriage and find those things in another person, then you are in the zone of cheating on your spouse. You are in the zone. It may not be physical just yet. And then for some other people, it's actually based on their own definition. So because for somebody who is having a friendship with another female friend and they chat regularly, they help each other out, the wife may consider it a sin against her, like cheating, and the husband still thinks he doesn't know. So sometimes we must have these conversations. The reason why some of these things are not clear is because we don't talk about them. As a couple, you must have conversations around what you consider stepping out, what you consider would be off the boundary, what do you consider that would be harmful to your spouse, what kind of relationships will be offensive. You know, once you talk about this, and then of course it becomes cheating for you. But in the broader perspective, infidelity, you know, is of course when you have stepped out of your marriage vows and you have found yourself in the hands of another person that is not your spouse.
Taking solace in another person. We've seen people having very beautiful relationship with their spouses, and yet, in fact, it will be almost impossible to believe
Separate them.
that such a spouse is having extramarital affairs. How is that possible? For you to have something outside your home, and yet you're still the 100% husband or wife in your marriage?
Well, some people are able to compartmentalize, so which is they can box these feelings in different boxes in their head. So what I feel for you is different. The need you meet is different. What I feel, so for some people, they want to have a family, one family, mother, father, children, and they want their children to have that sense of belonging in a family. So whatever they do, they know that they will never have two families. So they are able to compartmentalize. But there's another need, which is maybe a sex drive, or just there's just this lady outside who understands me, who listens to me, who makes me feel this way, or this man who I connect with better. You know, so sometimes it's on a need basis. So they say, I can do. So it's very possible. It's very possible for somebody to be devoted at home and still be having extramarital affairs, and their partner will have no idea. But for most people, you would be able to tell, because their devotion will reduce. What they used to confide would reduce, what the connection you share would reduce, and you can almost tell that the attention is being taken elsewhere.
Away.
You know.
Thank you. Now let's look a little bit inward. For the person that has discovered a cheating spouse, you know, I don't want us to look firstly at how such a spouse to react to the cheating spouse, but the person himself or herself, how are you supposed to, you know, get it down into your system so that it does not lead to irreparable trauma on the person that is being cheated on? How can such a person, it's an established fact that that person's spouse is cheating. Are you supposed to help yourself in order not to lose it?
Well, usually most people, when they find out that their spouse is cheating, they want to talk about it. They want to bring it up and see how they can deal with it. What happened? Would he stop? Would he not stop? What I would say, if you find yourself in a relationship where you're with an unrepentant spouse, so to speak, where the person is promiscuous and they're cheating, you have to weigh what your options are. I mean, some of the things that will inform your decisions may go beyond just your marriage. And for other people, it may be their religious background. For other people, it may be their cultural background. For others, it may be that, you know what, they don't even want to stay. You would have to discuss with a partner who has cheated. Is he sorry? Is she sorry? Are they repentant? Are they sober? These are things that will actually decide whether your marriage can come out of the affair. What I find in my line of work is that in most cases where an affair has happened, trust has been broken. And one of the most difficult things to actually rebuild in a relationship is trust. So you find out even after the affair, there are potential problems for the marriage from the process of lack of trust. So the person who has cheated is no longer cheating, but the person who has been cheated on cannot bring themselves to trusting them again. So they become this person who snoops around, who, you know, there's just a baggage of insecurity.
Unnecessarily suspicious
and now comes on and creates a new set of issues for the relationship. So it's going to take a lot of patience, a lot of talking on both parties, and a lot of maybe therapy or counseling for them if they are willing to work together. So if you discover an affair, the next step will be to bring it up and decide where you want to go from here. For some people, that decision, there are many things that can influence it. A religious background can influence it, a cultural background. There are some people who, after discovering an affair, they have nowhere to go to. So there's also the economic background to it. Some people have nowhere to go, so they want to leave, but they can't. So they tolerate that affair. Some people religiously, they don't want to dissolve their marriage, you know. So whatever it is that you form your decision on, you must face it. You must talk about it. The person who is cheating must realize what they're doing. You must set boundaries. Do they want to stop? How do we move on from here? Do we go to counseling? But it has to be dealt with anyway.
Okay. Thank you. Is it right to discuss such an issue with your friend or with family members?
Well, can they help you? That's the question.
That's a big question.
If they cannot help you, then there's no need discussing. And in most cases, they cannot help you. If you discuss with your mom, she can't help you. And between husband and wife, there is a very funny union. When they finish settling their own issues, it is the outsiders that will now continue the issue. So again, I find that many people want to protect their partners. So even if they can talk to their family members, they would rather not. But so I say talk to a professional. Okay. Talk to a mentor. Somebody who can be unbiased. Somebody who can actually give you valuable advice and help you both find your feet again.
Now, from the perspective of the person that is being cheated on, how do you settle that within your heart without, going overboard in your emotions?
It's difficult to, and going overboard in your emotion can be subjective. What do I mean by this? How I would react may not be how you would react. Some people are calm, naturally calm. Others, they are very expressive. So if I find out cheating, the way I may react may be different. What you consider overboard may just be me expressing myself. But what I would say is, you must know, where are we going from here? And expressing your emotions, crying, wailing, and fighting, tearing each other apart, it's not the solution. Where do we go from here? What is the solution? Can we talk about it? Is this something that happened based on, a lack of love, negligence, what it is? You want to be able to ask, what led you to this? Did I contribute in any way? Cheating is nobody's fault. It's not the person's fault who has been cheated upon that they were cheated upon. But it's not a bad thing to ask, is there any way I contributed to this? What actually led? So that you understand where the person is coming from. So what do we do? So are they willing to stop? Do they want to continue what they are doing? Once you are able to sort out all those, there'll be a lot of conversation around what the next steps are for your marriage, really. And it cannot be a one-partner thing. The two of you have to come to an agreement, as to what it is we should do going forward. And in most cases, it would be either talking to somebody who can help you through the steps of rebuilding trust again. Because what I find in my work is that when there's been an infidelity, men don't want to talk about it. Women want to talk about it. That process alone can cause a set of new problems for the marriage. Even though the person is not cheating again, somebody wants to forget. Somebody wants to discuss the details. So unless you go to a professional who can help you ask the right questions and help you see that your wife wanting to talk about it is not necessarily because she wants to bury you, or your husband wanting to talk about it not because they want to bury you or they want to make you feel bad. They just need the answers, and then you can see it from their perspective and be willing to give those answers.
But may I just ask, is it possible to live with a cheating spouse? Is it because our perspective is that when you're married, you should remain married, you stay married. Because if you break up from this marriage and you get married to somebody else, you don't have any guarantee that you won't go through the same problem. So, and when in marriage, it's not just the spouses that are there. The children are there. And one way or the other, it tells on them. In fact, it tells on the children more when there's separation or divorce. So if it's something that can be managed, our point of view is always, please stay married, if not for your sake, for the sake of your children. I'm sure that's a lot of women don't want to hear that.
They don't want to hear that. Stay married. But sometimes it's because emotions are funny. When you are sad, you are sad. When you're unhappy, you're unhappy. When you are in pain, you're in pain. And if you are constantly having to face a cheating spouse, it's a lot of trauma for the person. But that's why I said, usually what determines what the person will do goes a lot into their emotional, their religious perspectives. So the idea of staying married is because we believe in the idea of marriage. We believe that God instituted marriage
that's
and want the best for us, and there's no issue that with God's help we cannot resolve. So based on that perspective, yes, you can restore your marriage. A cheating spouse can stop cheating. They can come to know God. They can come to love you, and you can come to have a happy marriage. But that process would first of all mean that you become the architect of your own happiness. You realize that your spouse is not your source. So if you stay, it is because you have agreed to help them. You have agreed to see the issue and not the person. So there are aspects of this person that you appreciate, that you love, that you want to stay with. You want to build a family with them, but they have this cheating issue. So once you decide to stay, there has to be another authority, another perspective that supersedes the one you currently have, which is that you are hurt alone. So it goes into the background of many things. But once you decide to stay, you must become the architect of your happiness. You must realize that what this person is doing is wrong, but I can be happy. I can help them. I can see them for what they are. I can begin to look at them and see them as somebody who needs help, somebody who has a problem, and then begin to work on love different ways to win their...
To get the person back. Because not only that, caving in, means you're giving up on on a marriage that you have put in so much to build. Giving up on your spouse also means that you are shrinking from the person that is on the outside. I think your marriage is worth fighting for, because it must have taken some time for you to take a decision to actually go into that marriage with that person. So if you're shying away from every little threat to that marriage, you're not also doing your marriage good. You don't have to, concentrate so much on the person that is out there. You should work from inside in order to win that spouse back home, such that in the midst of all the cheating, yes, it's been established, I'm aware, but then you can even tell the person, I'm not going to let go. So you sort that out and get back here. When you get to that point that you can actually say in your mind that this is a trying time, and then everything is going to get back well, you'll be doing your marriage a huge good. And I feel that should be the perspective of every African woman.
Regardless. I like that you said
African woman,
because I know that there's an African woman watching us right now and thinking, oh, so you want me to suffer, oh, so I should be unhappy, oh, this and that. But the thing is, for you to make that decision, there must be a superior idea, which is that you even believe in the concept of marriage. You see your marriage now beyond you, because the truth is, whatever happens in your marriage has a high likelihood of affecting your children.
Exactly.
They are picking lessons from you, lessons of how to stay in a marriage, how to love. So there has to be a bigger idea, which is why I keep mentioning that. If you want to bring in the God factor, that is a bigger idea, something that supersedes what you currently probably want to do. And that is a big backing to say, you know what, I want to stay in this and I want to make it work. Then you have that backing. You are sure that he can change. You have not given up on that marriage. You know that he can change by the help of God.
Yes, that's the God factor, and it is very key in marriage, because he is the originator of marriage. He has the blueprint to every marriage. And you can't know a product better than its manufacturer. So regardless of the level of infidelity in your marriage, it can still work if you're ready to invite, like she said, the bigger being that can help you correct every anomaly. Once more, I want to say thank you to Olabisi, Secret Place Wives. Thank you so very much for your time. Thank you. And I would like to do this on behalf of Iliokoya TV. Thank you for coming again.
Thank you,
and we look forward to having you again and again. Thank you, everyone out there. Don't forget to send in your question. Send it via all the social media you are seeing now. Let's have your feel. Let's get your contribution. Are you going through one of the things we've been talking about on this platform? Let your view be made known. Let your idea be of help to other marriages. Thank you so very much. Till I come your way again, I remain Abimbola Kiyomi, Iliokoya, on Now That You're Married.